Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is part 2 of my Halloween flowers series. I'm just making different ideas that you can do for your Halloween event if you're doing one. So in the last video I used scrapbook paper. Today I kind of want to extend on that. I used a round petal template. It's a free template that I use. I just don't think you need to have to spend any money. And if you wanted to, just buy paper. And with the last one I used a round petal template. This one I'm extending that, but I'm doing something a little bit different to it. So this video is going to be pretty short because the same ideas that I'm using before is kind of used here. It's just tweaked a little bit. So let's get started. So here are the petals I'm using. I will explain what I'm using as I go on. But again, this is a round petal template. It's just, a basic petal. What I've done here is I've cut out bats in the middle. Right, so there's 2 different kinds. Here's 2 bats and here's 3 bats. This is best with a cutting machine. So if you have any cutting machine that can cut little shapes for you, this is best. But if you don't have one and you want to just use, an X-Acto knife to cut out your bats or whatever that you have, or you even just want to print bats on your paper and just rather than cut them out, you have them on there. So I'm going to add different files below, whether they're PNG, PDF, SVG, .studio3, DXF, whatever file you need. Let me know if I don't have it, but I'll offer them below. And this video kind of goes over how I make them. So I have 2 different kinds of petals. I just thought I'd mix and match them. This is 4.5 inches wide, so I have 6 petals of those. 3 of each design where they have 3 or 2 bats in them. I also have a 5-inch petal, so I have 6 of those. And then, like in the last video, I have 12 of the 5.5-inch wide petals, so I can make 2 layers, so it can look like a nice round flower. And then a 7-inch hexagon. So for the center, I have 1 full sheet, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper cut with that fringe cut, as they call it. That's an 1/8 inch cut. And then I have 1 5-inch sheet. The cut is 4.5 inches, and that will be for the center. The reason why I chose yellow is because you see in those Halloween movies or images or books that there's always a nice big round yellow full moon and then bats flying into it. So that was the idea behind choosing this color. And to get started, it's kind of like the same. I mean, there's only so many ways you can make a paper flower, but expounding on those ideas works well. So to prep my petals, what I'll do actually, instead of just cutting everything in the slit in half and then gluing the petal flaps together and then just gluing the flowers. So what I'm going to do with the petal is cut a line down the middle so that I can have 2 flaps and I can glue the petal flaps together. But like what I do normally, I want the petals to sit like this, and I want the layer to look like this rather than each individual layer is a different color. I want them to sit together. So one thing you can do very easily is just add a little bit of glue to both sides, kind of where you would lay the petal on. Let that sit for a minute, and then you can make your cut, and then add your glue, and then prep your petal that way. So you could glue down the whole entire petal, it just takes too long. I just thought that this would be easier if I did it this way. And then you would just make all your petals with this layer like that. And then you would do your other petals just the same way. Okay, so now that my petals are all prepped, the last thing to do is obviously just to glue it to the base. Right, so like in the last video, I want to do 2 layers around this hexagon. Alright, so then the last layer we have is obviously these petals, right? And so what I want to do is with the first petal, I'm going to add some glue on the left side and leaving the I'm going to add some glue on the left side of this petal, but not on the right side of this petal, so the glue, when you place it down, is on the right side. That way later I can slip a petal underneath it. And with these, I'll just glue regularly. And then the last petal, when you glue it, you just slip it slightly underneath that first petal. And then glue that corner down. So the way I envisioned this is like sort of like the black is the dark night, and then these are the clouds and the bats flying all over it. You get me? Anyway, so then now it's just doing the center. Like any other thing that I've done, the centers are sort of self-explanatory. You just glue both sides down, you roll it, and then you get your center. With this piece, I thought that I would just roll it the same, and then since it's longer, I would just flare it out a little bit so that it could look like a full moon. So if you're making something similar to this, you can just use a foam ball because it's like a half circle. You can use anything that you want in the middle that, if you're using this idea, I mean, you think resembles like a moon. So I know the moon's not really like yellow. It's more of a light yellow, but I thought this would work fine. So bring the flower back. So I am going to push down the sides of the flower center down a little bit. Try to make it look more a little more even. It would work if you have another sheet and you can make it fuller. So it does kind of look more like a sun, doesn't it? But it's supposed to be a moon. Maybe something more round would fit better, but I know what it is. So I'm just going to glue the center down in the center. Right, I'm going to glue the center down and just press so that the glue hits the paper. This helps make sure it doesn't fall off later if you're not gluing it completely down. So there you have it, just a very quick, easy flower. My take on it again was a full moon with bats flying in the night sky. Any sort of interpretation we could find. Again, I'm dropping SVGs, PNGs, PDFs down below. If you're making any of these flowers or using this template, please let me know. This is best for a cutting machine since it cuts it quicker for you, but if you want to try it without one, it's totally fine. It's up to you, but I would love to see what you make with it. Let me know if you have any questions down below or in an email. Thank you so much for watching.